We're back with Linwood. The album is Mama Zoo, Quilt Floor. The lead singer, Jesse, passed away in 2017. He went and finished the album up. The song you just heard was Guitar World. Um, Tell me a little bit about Jesse's politics.
Uh, I mean, I feel like if you listen to the songs, you get a pretty clear view, maybe, of where she stands. But I would say, in general, and I'll preface this too. I hate to speak for her in any way because I feel like it doesn't really do any justice, maybe, and I don't want to get anything wrong. But um, I'd say she just like is somebody that stands for truth and fairness um uh and treating people with kindness, and anything that doesn't fall in line with that, obviously she's gonna speak out against it. Um, and clearly there's a ton of topics that fall, within that scope. But I would say on a classical side, people would say she's like a leftist, But I would call those politics more center in a way because I feel like that's how everybody should think.
Yeah, I certainly enjoyed
It's
her take on things. Um, Trying to make people think about sort of the implications of the way the world is and draw them into the mindset where they have to experience things and experience the inequality she's describing
Yeah.
in her eyes.
Even like with Guitar World, uh, I, uh, I, I've played guitars for about 20 years now, plus, ever since I started playing, the kind of like it's always assumed that that guys are going to play guitar and all the guitar people, all the guitar gods, it's all men. Almost ties into the way that that we think of what God may or may not be, perhaps. But it's most people, we would assume, if there was a gender, uh it would be that. But I would always make fun of people who thought they were a certain way about the guitar or treated the guitar like it was something bigger than what it actually is. And but I can have those feelings and poke fun at it. Um, but like I'm never getting put down by it, I guess. Like when I go to the guitar store and the people get on my nerves or talk to me a certain way, I'll take it personally, but in a different way. I feel like I can't tell you how many times we go to a guitar center on tour and walk in, and Jesse, whether she was buying just some cables or strings or something, and uh a man would walk in and just she'd ask the question and they'd talk to her like she was a child, or they're like looking at me and I'm like, I play drums in this band. I'm not buying anything. um you see that happen, and like it's comical and it's funny in a way because it's so absurd, you know and it's also funny because like somebody who works at the guitar store is gonna talk down to the person who's on tour selling tickets, of shows. And they don't know that, of course. Um, but it's just it's sad. So like I don't know, a song like Guitar World, it does come from a place of like kind of being treated a certain way, probably for the duration that she played, I guess, and that, I mean, that song was just inspired by like a local magazine had done a feature on guitar players in town, and there was like, I don't even remember who was in it, but like I picked it up and was thumbing through. I just assumed she would be in it, and she wasn't. And then I sent her the magazine, and I was like, "Why are you in this? This is crazy." And then I swear to God, literally the next day, she sent me a voice memo with that song in it. Um, and and that's like a funny song, and almost kind of a comedy song in a way, but like, I think it does, and it comes from like a place of pain to some extent, but it is just kind of pointing out something that's like so painfully clear. Although I feel like the time between then and now, I feel like there's more women that play guitar in town that get a little more shine. Still like not close in comparison, but that's just kind of the way it is.
Yeah, I very much appreciate people who want to question the way things are. She also was doing some questioning in some other songs. I liked Capital Kind. I played that one. You know,
Yeah.
uh
You know what's funny about that song? Even though there's no connection to this whatsoever, but there and sorry, I'll get back to what you were saying. I get sidetracked religiously, but there is a song about Trump on this record. But I thought it was funny that even though Capital Kind has nothing to do with January the 6th, obviously, but for some reason, every time I see Capital Kind, I look at that word, and then you can't help but associate it with those people. Um, and that song is about capitalism,
mhm.
obviously, not the storming of the Capitol, but there's just like a funny parallel there to me. And sorry,
Yeah,
go on.
I'm
I was
guessing
rudely
Trump
interrupted.
making a joke uh made it into a song.
Oh yeah,
That was beautiful. Probably not something
yeah,
you can play on air, but it was beautiful.
yeah. I need to make a clean version of that.
Beautiful, beautiful work. I, I feel disappointed I never got to speak to Jessie because she definitely likes to push the boundaries on lyrics, on genres. It's a whole world she opens up there.
Yeah, I was always really jealous of how good at with lyrics. I feel like she could kind of cut the fat out of things and get to a point in a way that I feel like in songwriting it's really tough to do, especially on topical things. Because I feel like if you choose something, it's easy to sound like you're being kind of preachy, maybe, or like stating facts, maybe, which don't always make for good songs. You know, I don't know what her focus on that stuff to me is kind of wild and so great. Or just the talent of being able to be like, all right, I've been thinking about this and I want to do a song about it. And she could kind of sum everything up in a way that was like both poignant and sometimes funny.
Yeah, comedy can help blunt the edges on some of those hard points she has to make.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So no, when she was fading away, was she thinking about trying to get some art in there into the world before she left?
Yeah, I mean, she literally, and I'll also say this, like when Jesse passed away, it was shocking because no one in our circle thought it would happen necessarily, Even when things seemed to be at their worst, she would kind of bounce back. Um, and but she literally was creating like in such a constant state. Being sick obviously had an effect on her, but I feel like um what if you went over her house, I mean, you would go in in a studio and there would be paper and just literally sketches and things just kind of papering the place. Almost make you feel like, damn, I'm not doing enough. Um, like one thing I remember, this is like maybe a month before she died. She was in the hospital for a couple of days, getting fluids, and I'll have to find this and I'll send it to you. But she had done like a pastel drawing for the nurses on the floor that she was on. And she wrote something like, I don't know if it was a quote that she just made up or if she was doing something, but it's just something about how compassion is an act of bravery. Um, but she drew this cool kind of poster, and I don't remember exactly what style it was. You know, she literally did that while she was sitting in bed. Uh, and I'm curious. I should get in touch with that hospital and see if they did anything with it. Yeah, she just was always doing something, you know. And that was one of the things that was really inspiring about her, both when she was sick and when she wasn't. It's like she made you want to create things, you know. Like it's nice to be around people that are doing stuff like that because um if you play music or if you draw or do anything, it's kind of a constancy of um reminding you to do the thing that inspires you, you know,
Yeah.
and and get off your phone or whatever it is that that you're doing with your time.
Well, I like to end my interviews by having the artist go on and pick a song.
Yeah,
Um, just can't be part of this album, but
yeah,
just I guess for you, I'll ask you to pick one that's sort of
yeah,
shown what you've been working on since Jesse passed.
yeah.
Um, one of the projects you've been involved in.
Oh, like from Loca Connie or Tristan or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, do you want me to say that now?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. Well, geez, trying to think. Um, I mean, can I do both bands?
Sure.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe a song by Tristan that I really like is called Complex. I like it's like a catchy song, and I like the bass playing that I did a lot on it. And I need to look. Maybe there's a little iconic song called Charisse. That's on Private Lives, which is 2 albums ago. Um, that I played guitar on, and when we recorded that song, it was like, sorry, there's like a landscape people next door. Um, is that noise really loud?
I can't hear it.
Okay, good. It's great. Um, yeah, we recorded that song, and like I guess that was in 2018, and I started playing with Connie um about maybe like it was a little under a year after Jesse died, and I was just not in a good spot, and I found myself playing a lot of music in that time in between, but like just never just feeling like underwhelmed and really, I don't know, really disconnected, I guess. Um, because the one thing playing with her that I always loved so much and with those darlings is at times, you know, maybe just because everyone in the band is super close friends, and You have like a visceral kind of connection with the songs, I guess. And maybe that's like an abstract thought, but like um anyway, we when I started playing with Connie, I literally I went in the studio with them, and when we did the take of Charisse, it was just like that was like the first time that I got that feeling back. And we did that, and you know the song, it's a little rough in a way, but like when we did it, I was playing guitar, Adam is playing guitar as well, and we just did the initial take with guitar, bass, and drums, I believe. And the vocal of the song was from that take. And it just, I don't know, it felt like one of those moments where something special was going on and everybody was just uh super focused in on what was happening. I hadn't felt that in so long. And it was like um just being in the center of a storm for a second, and like um every it's almost like like a Springsteen-ish kind of song as well, you know? But like anytime we play that song live, sometimes I feel moved to a certain extent because it's like s- symbolic of you know, the song has its own feeling, but it's also kind of symbolic for me of just like a nice moment, you know, that came after like a pretty tough, like maybe not tough, but a pretty boring period of time, not feeling very fulfilled by what was going on, you know, and just kind of being in a place where you're searching for stuff, which isn't really at least for a person like me, is not a good place to be in. So that was a really long story about Charisse. um
Well, I'm glad you're feeling like you're back.
yeah.
And I'm glad you managed to put this one out into the world. It's a pretty good album.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I love all these songs, both as a person who played and produced and mixed a bunch of it, and then also I feel like if they come on in the car, if I'm driving around and a song comes on in the car, it's like it's really exciting to me, you know. Which I will say, like one of the greatest feel, even though like we live in a time where like people are consuming things in such a different way, there still is no better feeling than when you're in a car and a song that you played on just, you know, because when it comes on, because you're not expecting it, and you also know that everyone sitting in a car has to sit and listen to that song unless they change station. um but you know, when I was a kid, that was always a thing. You're like, I want to play in bands, I want to get songs on. Just seems exciting.
Well, you got a few songs on the show today.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for talking to me. I know it's not the world's easiest subject.
I
Uh,
don't, you know what's funny? People, when people preface, like, I know it's hard to talk about, like, all this stuff to me, it's so it's not tough at all for me to talk about. I feel like it's worse for other people asking questions because it feels like such a sensitive space. But for me, I've already gotten through all that, I guess, you know? And I like sharing things about her, and you know, it's uh a time to pay tribute to somebody that was a very special person.
well, glad you're glad you're on the other side.
Yeah.
Album is Quilt Floor from Mama Zoo. And we'll be right back after a couple songs.
Thanks so much.